You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, women's hockey fans, welcome to another Women's Hockey Spotlight. I am so thrilled to bring to you my conversation with Liz Knox. Now, Liz Knox, or Knoxy as you'll hear me call her, was a goalie for the CWHL, won a championship with the Markham Thunder, was a captain at the last ever CWHL All-Star Weekend where we met. We'll hit on that. And since has been a pioneer for unionizing women's professional hockey. We're going to talk about her journey from player to now analyst and broadcaster and podcaster. We're going to talk about the upcoming PWHPA championships in California and get some predictions, as well as what's going on with the PWHPA league and them unionizing potentially by next fall. All that coming up on this edition of the Locked On NHL Women's Hockey Spotlight. Knoxy, I am so happy to have you on. This is our Women's Hockey Spotlight as part of Locked On NHL, but we go way back to like the CWHL All-Star in Toronto. I think maybe the last ever. That was a long time ago. How you been?
It feels like it was a decade ago now, but I'm happy to be here and great to see your lovely face again, as always, Erica.
Oh, thank you. Thank you much. Well, we wanted to have you on because I know that you've been carrying the banner for the PWHPA for some years. And even before then, as I mentioned, the CWHL, that's when we first got acquainted, wanting to know everything that you were doing to really push women's hockey forward. And so we're just going to get into it. We're going to start with the most burning questions, which of course is there have been reports that the PWHPA is not only leaning towards a new league to start in the fall, but what I, of course, am really curious, and again, picks up from where we started our hockey, acquaintance and friendship, is what's going on with a union. That's what I'm hearing, that the players are going to have a voice here. So what can you tell us about that and what to expect come the fall?
Yeah, like as you alluded to, when the CWHL folded, kind of one of the things we really recognized was that the players lacked the bargaining power that we needed to have a say in what the league looked like and the decisions that it made. And that all kind of stemmed from when they added teams in China and the players basically had no choice. And we all have day jobs. So we're taking vacation to go play hockey, which is awesome. It's a great opportunity. Don't get me wrong. But it kind of sparked this idea that we need a little bit more of a voice in our league. And so the traditional way to do that is to unionize and have the two parties, the league and the union, come to an agreement. And that has kind of been something that we've been working towards for the last 4 years. Of course, as I've learned, and as I'm sure all women's hockey fans learn, these things take a lot of time and people who make a lot more money than I do to make it happen. But we've been very, very fortunate to surround ourselves with some great people. And I think that will be our reality in the very near future.
Okay, so sounds like it's still in the process, as you said, been a long time coming. But are there any things, broad strokes, or whatever you're willing to share that you're really excited about, that you think are maybe what you envisioned back when you were still trying to do this with the CWHL, which is now for you 2 leagues ago?
Yeah, I think broad strokes, it's just empowering the players and, creating something that has longevity to it, in the sense that we know what the next set of years, as we talk about contract negotiation and collective bargaining agreements. I mean, this gives a real good picture of what's going to happen. And that's something that we've lacked, at least from my experience in women's hockey, that you're just kind of unsure and things can change at the drop of a hat, it seems, and money comes in and money comes out. And it just gives a little bit more sense of stability to us. So it's a really exciting time. And then, like I said, a lot of people have been working really hard to put this together.
All right, I'm not going to grill you too much here, but we're going to definitely, like I said, off air. This is your first time on Locked On NHL. We're just going to have you back as things develop, and you can share a little bit more of the behind the scenes and the process. But let's get to the here and now. So last weekend, as we are chatting, you were able to be a part of the broadcast team that brought the PWHPA showcase in Washington, D.C. to the airwaves, to the broadcast. First of all, I love that. As someone who is, seeing the product as far as the broadcast really increase when it comes to professional women's hockey, I love that. And having former players is always an amazing thing. You've been doing this now here and there with the PWHPA for a little bit, but DC took pretty good care of the PWHPA, looks like, and NBC Sports, I believe, was involved. So tell us about that experience and what you like about transferring your hockey skills from the ice as a goalie to now up in the booth.
Yeah, it's a whole new world. Like and the production team was fantastic in DC. I think it speaks volumes to what, putting the proper resources in place can do, because it's how the game is consumed for the people sitting at home and as well as the people in the arena. We had the benefit of video goal review this weekend, which we'll have in championship weekend as well. Something that sometimes we get and sometimes we don't, just depending on, the technology in place. But NBC brought us 9 cameras. So you're getting lots of looks at different angles, getting close up of plays and players and replay. And it's so much goes into it. And I'll be frank with you, as somebody who's new to this side of the mic, there's so many code names for things. And I'm just sitting there looking around like, I don't know what that means, but I'll just roll with it. Like just names of cameras, names of microphones, names of looks. I'm just like looking at Kenzie Lalonde, who is my co-host, or she was our play-by-play. And I'm just like looking at her like, are we good? I don't know what's happening. But no, like I said, just a testament to the production team that was there, because I think they made me sound okay.
I'm sure you were more than okay. I didn't catch up with it yet. But yes, I totally understand. I had to learn a lot of that stuff on the fly, so to speak, as well. Like, what is pre-pro? Oh, you want us to pre-record? Can we not just say that?
Yeah, right. But it's been fun. It is cool, because I think the unique part about being a goaltender is I've been like an observer of the game my whole life, and without really having the tools or the ability to be in the play making a change until it's a shot on net.
Right.
So you really get a sense of like how plays develop, what players do away from the puck, and that's kind of the perspective that I try to bring to the broadcast, is as well as fun facts and where athletes went to school and all that good stuff, the good stories. But I just try to give it how I see the game, and I think it adds some value to it, and I'm having fun doing it.
That's awesome. And, I've noticed that the setup has elevated since last we spoke. We're going to get to the podcast that you have as part of the Steve Dangle Podcast Network. But before we do that, let's get to also what we have coming up for the PWHPA. And that, of course, is championship weekend. Now, it's going to be in California, but you have a few different stops. So between the Anaheim Ducks, the LA Kings, and I don't know if you can see back here, but I keep up with the Seattle Kraken. So we've got the Coachella Valley Firebirds also involved, which I'm super stoked about. I'm so bummed I can't make it out to California for that. I know, like, the timing is just a little tough with my women's hockey engagements, but we are going to see championships weekend. So there will be a champion crowned. As of right now, I mean, Team Harvey's has really been just knocking it out of the park. Team Adidas right there behind them, Scotiabank and Sonnet. They got a little work to do.
Yeah, they're getting there.
They're getting there. But given what you saw in Washington and what we can expect in California, do you have any predictions? Who do you think is going to take it all, or maybe some players to watch?
Well, I mean, Harvey's is the safe bet because they have been a powerhouse, but they've shown some cracks in the armor the last couple tour stops, so they're not perfect. So I think they can be taken down. It just takes a perfect game on the other side of the ice. Obviously, they have Marie-Philippe Poulin and Anne-Renee Desbiens in net, so they've got strong offense, strong goaltending, and strong in between, honestly. But you know what? I love the underdog story, and Team Sonnet has so many good pieces. They have a lot of fun in the locker room. They're a good cultured team. And I think they might be looking to upset that number 1 seed. So they've got Hillary Knight, Hannah Brandt, Nicole Hensley in that. Again, like fantastic names, fantastic players. That's going to be our first game, number 1 versus number 4. And then Adidas, Scotiabank. These are the two teams that like I feel like they've just been battling all season long, and it's whose game is going to be. And interestingly enough, most of their games have been somewhat lopsided, but the season series is 4-2 for Adidas. So again, that game can go either way. It's going to be some great hockey. The losers of the initial games will play on Saturday hosted by the LA Kings, as you mentioned. And then, of course, the finals will be the winners decided in Palm Desert, and I cannot wait. It's going to be an epic show.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Acrisure, new barn, so it's gonna be a good time. And I believe we'll have a friend of the pod out there. JD probably might be helping out there. Or at least he is he's the PA for Coachella Valley, so I'm sure he'll be around helping out. If not,
amazing.
Yeah, I mean, just good people all around. So again, bummed I can't get out there, but I wanted to close this out because I alluded to you getting involved in media, and that includes getting into the podcast realm. Now, I've been able to watch the pod. Y'all are hilarious. Knox and Cax on Steve Dangle Podcast Network. Like, I just have so much fun. You can tell that you bring on people that you highly respect, you have a good rapport with, and then you're talking hockey to boot. So tell me a little bit about what it's been like, though. We talked a little off air. You've got, interviews coming up and all that, but you get another look at the hockey world outside of goaltending.
Yeah, it's cool. I think that I have the benefit of like kind of having these trusting relationships because I was a player not too long ago, though it feels like forever to me. So the players kind of know me, and they know that like I'm not looking for a story or for dirt or anything. I just want to have them on the show. And Karel is awesome. Like, she is just like the free floating. She'll just take the questions wherever, kind of our guests want to go. And between the two of us, we enjoy each other. We enjoy chirping each other. And it's just kind of a fun place to get to know the personalities behind the players that, we're used to seeing kind of every 4 years, the Olympics and now at the Women's World Championship, but just get a sense of who they are as people away from the rink. And it's been really fun. I've been really surprised by some of them. Abby Rock is the most obvious one because as Canadians, we hate playing against her. She's a tough person to play against. She's always in the dirt. And then you get her off the ice and she's just so lovable, like a very lovable person. Like, I want to hang out with you. I want to go have a drink with you. She's just like, she brings the fun. So it's been a real treat for me to get to know the players on that level.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, you mentioned obviously the Olympics. We've got a couple of years before the next one there, but World Championships will be in Canada this year in Brampton. So that's going to be exciting. And I'm sure that you'll have a lot to talk about. Just women's hockey at the international stage. I mean, I know we've been talking a lot about the PWHPA, but a lot of players in that league playing at the national level. I mean, you've got, I guess now, a 15-year-old crushing it, for Slovakia. It's just so much excitement and stuff like your podcast, hopefully what we're growing here on Locked On NHL. We now have more homes to tell these stories, and that's always a good thing. So Knoxy, we gotta have you back,
I don't want to leave.
I know, right? This just could be never ending. We just do like a live stream of just talking forever, but we do have to let you go because you have a million things that you're doing, getting ready for, because you're awesome. But let us know what's coming down the pike. What are you excited about, whether it's the podcast, PWHPA, and then where folks can find you.
Yeah, I think it's just a really exciting time, as you said, Erica, for women's hockey everywhere, at the grassroots level, right through, professionally. And of course, we're seeing the Women's World Championship in my backyard. I couldn't get tickets because it sold out in like 15 seconds. But with the podcast, we're tossing the idea around about maybe having like a little watch party. So
let's
keep your eyes peeled, come up and enjoy the game with us. I think it'd be a great time.
Absolutely. Well, Knoxy, thanks again. We'll chat with you on the other side of the PWHPA championships when we'll see how well your predictions held out.
I love that.
Sounded pretty solid. But thanks as always, my friends. And hey, best of luck down the road.
Well, pleasure's all mine. And thank you, Erica, for doing all that you are for women's hockey.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, as always, for listening to the Women's Hockey Spotlight. I am Erica L. Ayala. I am a broadcaster and analyst for the Premier Hockey Federation, and I am a freelance writer covering women's hockey and lots of other hockey. And of course, I am the host of Locked On Kraken. But that's going to do it for our Women's Hockey Spotlight for this week. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Liz Knox. Make sure you're tuning in to ESPN Plus or TSN for the PWHPA Championships weekend in California. Without further ado, though, let me send you back over to Rachel and Gil.